Well, I'll open with we're starting our third Dogs for Pups initiative. I think we released something at 12 for that. A lot of our kids started this, and they've done a tremendous job. Several of them have kind of grabbed the bull by the horns, and they did a Wi-Fi a food drive, and then also they're starting a coat drive for winter months for kids in the local area that do not have coats. So encourage people that want to get involved with that to do it. I know it's important to our players, and they've done a good job. And Cortez Hankton has kind of been spearheading some of those, so it's been a tremendous initiative those kids have taken part in. We're off week this week. We're beat up football team, so we've got some guys that got to get well, but we got a lot of guys that got to get better. So we're taking this week, working Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, trying to get fundamentally better, trying to focus on us, not really on opponents, and things that we can get better at. And that starts today. And I'm excited to see the kids go out and work. And we got a lot of guys who probably haven't got to play the number of snaps that we would like in terms of the teams we played and the tight games we've had to play. And we got to get those guys better. And it starts today, and they'll get to work on it today.
All right, let's go to questions. We'll do them two at a time. Let's start with Anthony Dasher and then Mark Weiser.
All right, Coach, I guess I'll come in hot to start off with here. Being that everybody, loves the backup quarterback, as it pertains to JT, can you talk about where he is at right now? And does this extra week afford you an opportunity to take a closer look at him in regards to his competing for playing time coming up?
Yeah, we look at the off weeks as an opportunity to get everybody better. So it'll be no different at any position in terms of the reps. We're able to get, during a game week, we get ones, I would say 70, 80% of the reps, twos, 20 to 30% of the reps, but then our threes get a lot of reps during the week because they go against the other units. This week, we'll get to get a lot of guys reps. JT will get reps. DeJuan will get reps. Stetson's going to continue to get reps. I mean, we try to develop our roster, and it's the way we look at it. So it doesn't change. It just gives us a chance to give more guys work and see where they are in their progress, and that's true at every position, including quarterback.
And just a one real quick follow-up. Can you just explain the difference between being medically cleared and ready to compete at the level that Coach Monken would like him to be?
Well, medically cleared is saying that he can go out and get tackled and play football. It's unique to that position because you don't, the quarterback doesn't go live. I mean, maybe in fall camp some, but he doesn't go live until real game time. And then, everything else is revolved around who we think gives us the best chance to win. And that's ultimately the decision you have. Toughest thing is getting enough reps once you're down the road of being able to get guys prepared for a game. You can't prepare 3 and 4 quarterbacks to play in a game. You just don't get enough time to do that. But we do get a lot of time this week to compete, have reps. It's every position. I look at it as every guy that's going out there is getting a chance to get better on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And that's the way we've always done our off weeks. It doesn't change.
Thanks.
Kirby, what type of things do you want Stetson to focus on to get better in the next couple of weeks before Kentucky? And is he still your starter?
Yeah, like I've talked about before, I feel great about Stetson. I think he's done a good job managing the situations we put him in. I think he made a couple bad decisions, and some of them he didn't have to pay the dividend for them. He threw a couple balls that he shouldn't have thrown based on the coverage they gave us, but those weren't necessarily the ones that get picked. Sometimes you get batted balls that get tipped and they get picked. Sometimes you throw a ball, he missed Jermaine over the middle a little bit there. It's a little bit out of his reach. Maybe Jermaine gets his hands on it more. It's just unfortunate they picked it. But the ones that don't get picked concern me more, where we throw into coverage, and we had a couple of those. So it's one of those things. He's done a really good job executing on third down. He's hit some guys that have dropped some balls on third down, but we've become a better third down team since he's been in there, and we've got to continue to improve on that, and everybody around him's got to continue to improve.
All right, let's go to Mike Griffith and then Dean Legge.
Yeah, Kirby, a lot's always said about how you start a game or start a half, and looking at your first quarter drives and your third quarter drives, you guys haven't been very productive. You've had turnovers and gone backwards. What have you attributed those slow starts at the beginning of games and the beginning of the second half to?
Well, I don't know that that's exactly true in all games, because we had a couple games we started moving the ball really well. I think in the third quarter I would agree we've got to do a better job of being able to come out of the half, whether it's the first drive or the second drive. Some like Auburn drive defensively, we didn't come out very good at all. They converted a bunch of third downs. Felt like they held the ball forever. That one drive converting it. So it's not necessarily one thing you can put your finger on. It's something that we got to execute better. And it doesn't really matter whether it's the first quarter or third quarter. It's throughout the game. And if you chart our drives defensively or offensively and you say, okay, a penalty on defense sparks a drive for them because they convert a third down. On offense, a penalty prevents a drive because you're first and 20 or second and 15. Those are things that you got to remove. It doesn't matter what quarter it happens in. It only matters, what did you do to cause the penalty? What did you do to have a mental error or a missed assignment? And that's what we're trying to improve. We're trying to improve our ability to execute at a high level. And when we do that on defense and offense, we're pretty good. When we don't, we're not.
Kirby, how about your offensive line when you went back and looked at the film? How did you think they performed, and what do you see there moving forward in terms of production from the offense if they continue to play well?
I think our offensive line has probably played pass pro'd pretty well this season in terms of protecting the quarterback, not losing one-on-one battles. I don't feel like we've had a lot of mismatches, where we've said, oh, man, that guy's going to really struggle to block that guy. And maybe some of that has to do with who we've played and what the defenses are like. Because I don't know that defensively right now teams are as good as they were last year across the board. When you look at it, they've been able to run. We've been able to run the ball at times. Arkansas, we really struggled to run it, and that was probably the game that we struggled to run it the most in terms of down in, down out. But we got to develop more depth at the offensive line, and we've got to get the guys within the offensive line to play with even more conditioning and stamina so that when we do go tempo, we can outcompete the other team in terms of conditioning level.
All right, let's go to Seth Emerson and then Chip Towers.
Kirby, I asked a similar question last week, I think, about the LSU game last year and how they did against you all in the SEC championship. Same scenario played out Saturday night, but it was early in the season this time. Do you think concerns about the defense, whether they were personnel or otherwise, were exposed that can be fixed, or is it just that Alabama is that good?
There's definitely things we could do better schematically, defensively, to help our players. I thought, there's times that I don't know if Alabama's the best offense in the country. I haven't watched everybody else, so I can't say that. They certainly have a very good offense in terms of their quarterback knows where to go with the ball. They've got as talented offensive line. Every one of those offensive linemen will be playing in the NFL one day, and they've got really good skill players. So we got good players, too, on defense. And when we execute pretty well, we do pretty well. We probably lost more 50-50 balls, what I call 50-50 balls, and it's not just fades and touchdown passes. It's situational third down where can we get a ball out. We probably lost more of those than we have in a long time. Even going back to the LSU game, we didn't have as tight a coverage on them as we did in Alabama. We had tight coverage a lot of times in Alabama and just didn't get the ball out. And you got to give them credit for that. And it doesn't cause alarm for me because I know that we got good players and we got kids that care and it bothers them. And we got to do a really good job as coaches to try to help them other ways.
Chip?
Coach, just wondering, DJ Daniels, didn't see him much the other night. Is he okay? Or was there any kind of injury situation there?
DJ's been battling an ankle, and it's been bothering him. And he's practiced. He's done everything we've asked. He's rehabbed. He's trying to get better, and we're hopeful that he gets to 100% this week and can get back to the level he was playing at last year.
Let's go to Charles Odom and then David Pascal.
Coach, one of Stetson's obvious strengths is his speed and scrambling ability. And I know you have times you want him to take advantage of that, but you spoke after the game about wanting him to step up in the pocket. Do you think that when he had some passes deflected in the games, it affected his confidence in staying in the pocket?
He may have had an overemphasizing effect to him, but it's one of those things. Every good quarterback finds that you look at all across the league, in the NFL and college football. height is not the greatest indicator of batted balls. His ability to use the pocket is, and a lot of that comes from experience. And he's gaining in the experience category. He's not elite in experience. He doesn't have a ton of it. We do a lot of drills in practice where we try to simulate pocket, and you have to step up and through it. I thought that's one of the things that Jake was really good at. He could feel the pocket opening and step up in the pocket and either run or make a throw. And we continue to work with Stetson on that. He's shown the ability to do that. He didn't always trust it Saturday, and he's got to do a good job of that. He's got good pass protectors around him.
Kirby, you knew this was going to be a unique year. You're 4 games in. Typically, you've had that non-conference game by now where you've had a 48-6 lead with 10 minutes left and have been able to play a lot of people. How different has this been from a numbers standpoint? How many fewer players have you played to this point than you typically do? And is that something that changes the rest of the way because you know the schedule doesn't ease up?
It makes the off week that much more important, I think. I don't statistically have the number of what we have played versus what we haven't. I know we've played fewer for sure. And we have to travel and have to dress fewer. When you play SEC games, the rule's different than non-conference. So we knew that coming in. I hate it for the development of the rest of your roster. When you talk across the league, that's the most frustrating thing for coaches is, you've got kids that want to play and that's what they want to do. And it's tough to get them in these in some of the competitive environments. So where's their growth come? You got to sell their growth in practice and when they go against the ones on the scout team, and just not going to be a lot of opportunities to play a lot of guys.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Jake Rowe, and then we'll go to Jillian with the red and black.
Kirby, I want to ask you about Kenny Mcintosh. It seemed after the first kickoff return against Alabama that we didn't see much of him after that point. And also wanted to throw in a note on Jalen Johnson. I mean, former walk-on, seems to be traveling with you guys and maybe getting some more playing time as the season goes on. What's kind of gone into that?
Yeah, Kenny banged up his knee early in the game. I don't know if it was on the kick or if it was one of the first carries. I'm not sure exactly when it happened. We don't think he's going to be out long, but he's hurting a little bit. He's probably going to be in a black jersey at least today, and we'll see how he goes day to day, but we don't think it's anything long term. Jalen's done a tremendous job. He's hit really good numbers on our GPS. He's one of our faster guys. He's tough. He's smart. Plays multiple positions. He's created value in himself because of his ability to play on special teams, but also his ability to learn multiple positions in our offense. And I've been very pleased with the work he's given us.
Hey, Coach. So what's the current mentality for the defensive backs after their performance on Saturday, and how can this specific group work to fix these issues that were exposed before moving forward with the rest of the season?
Well, the current state is you're a SEC defensive back playing man-to-man against really good players. And the state of Tyson Campbell, after he gave up a touchdown pass to Tennessee, is not going to be different than his touchdown pass given up to Alabama. I mean, when you play in the secondary, you assume the risk. It comes with a little note. When you play man-to-man, you will get beat. Nobody is perfect. Nobody's going to play a perfect game. Nobody's going to play a perfect season. Turn it on the NFL every Sunday. The best corner in the NFL gets beat. I mean, it's going to happen. What you don't want to do is get beat by a bust and give up a 90-yard touchdown when you don't have great communication and you bust. That to me is a problem. That not when I'm pressing a guy and I got this guy and I just get beat. That's going to happen from time to time, and you accept that. And you got to win more than you lose, and we got to hit some of those. We got to score some of those too to make big plays. But our DBs are fine. They understand. They go against good players every day in practice, and they'll get right back out there and compete.
All right, let's go with Brandon Sudge and then Connor Riley.
Hey, Kirby, I want to ask you about Karis Jackson. Can you think of any memory or time, whether it be in recruiting or over his first few years, where you were able to see like how his family and the people around him were really significant? Because when we speak to him and when he plays, I feel like he kind of, has these moments and dedicates them to his mom or dedicates them to somebody around him. So that, and then also going back to quarterbacks, how have you managed the kind of morale of a guy like JT or Dwan who haven't been able to have much game action? How do you kind of keep them in it and keep them competing in practice?
Well, the quarterback question is the same as every position. You know, every day you go out there, you have an opportunity to get better. Those guys don't get the opportunity to play as much as maybe another position does. But there's guys all over our team that aren't playing in games that have to go out there each day and improve their craft. And that's a lot about inherently who you are. Can you grow and get better without being in the limelight? And the great ones all probably have done that in their career. And it's unfortunate, in a me now society of I got to take care of me right now. That's hard to do, but we challenge them every day. I mean, we give each guy an opportunity to get reps and get better daily. In terms of Kieras, he's an unbelievable young man. His mom is a wonderful woman. He is a big brother to a young sibling, and he's a great example for our team. I love the way he competes. He's on the leadership group with the SEC office. He represents our team, and he's just a tremendous worker. And when you work that hard, usually good things come to people who work that hard, and he's had some early season success based on his work habits.
Hey, Kirby, with JT and Dwan sort of working with the second team, working with scout team, and playing against Georgia's first string defense, how much does that in practice do you think help prepare them, or if they needed to go into a game, they'd be prepared and ready to step in there?
Well, any work prepares you. I mean, it's the same for Stetson and Carson Beck. I mean, any work you do prepares you for game. I think the scout team work sometimes is tougher because you're not necessarily running your plays. You're not breaking a huddle and making checks. You are throwing the ball and you are reading a defense. But some of the plays are very similar to ours, and sometimes they're different. So it's a lot more relevant when they're getting reps with our offense.
All right, we got time for two more questions. Anybody want to jump in?
Hey, Kirby, I just wanted to ask real quick on when y'all are in that, is the whole team together when y'all are in a scout team? Meaning, what I mean by that is the offense watching while the number ones go against the number fours or threes? Or are y'all split up in two different sections in practice?
Both.
Just curious.
I mean, It's a combination of both. We have periods where we go ones and twos against the scouts. So offense would have ones and twos there against the defensive scouts. And then same thing, ones and twos defense against the scout offense. But then we come together and we do one defense against two offense and service each other, much like an NFL team would do, because you don't have the depth to go past the twos. So we have periods that we would consider more competitive, ones, twos, ones, and then we have some periods that are considered scout periods. But we script all that, and not many people do it any different than that. Your goal is to get really good, high-end quality work when you go more good on good, and then as good as your scouts can be, in some cases we get really quality work out of our scouts because we have offensive linemen and defensive linemen that are scholarship players on those scout units.
Can you update the health of Devontae Wyatt and Matt Landers? Do you expect them back? And will you guys scrimmage this week?
Devontae Wyatt is fine. He played the whole game. He was banged up, but he's fine. He's good to go. Matt's been dealing with a shoulder that occurred in this was a Tennessee game on that I thought it was a pass interference, but it was the play he got banged up on. He came back and he helped us in the game on special teams and played, but he was limited during the week of practice. And yeah, we will work hard this week. We'll go physical like we always do in off weeks and try to get better.